Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and today we're going to show you another part of the String and Crumbs series, and this one is called Flying Geese. Now, before we do that, I want you to introduce to you Ann Terabani from learnhowtoquilt.com. She has reached out to me and we've just had a lovely chat, and we're going to try and do a sew date here pretty quick. So she sent me a little video that we're going to put in right here, and then we'll get to the sewing. Okay, so come on in.
Hi, I'm Ann Terabani from learnhowtoquilt.com. Our site is a free resource for quilters, especially for beginners. We've organized a number of videos that cover all the steps from making your own patterns to finishing up with the binding around the quilt. We also have a great quilting encyclopedia filled with videos explaining quilting terms and methods. Beginners and experienced quilters can download patterns for free blocks, small projects, or whole quilts. Hope you get a chance to visit us on YouTube or at our website. We're listed under learnhowtoquilt.com. Make sure you add that .com. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, so we're at the sewing machine now, and in the pattern below, in the show notes below or the description below, I'm going to have flying geese that are like, 3.5 inches, 3 or 2.5. They finish at 2.5, 3 inches, or 3 inches, and then 2 inches, 1.5 inches, and the 1 inch. Now, when I'm doing this, I usually have a bunch of drawn out flying geese all handy. So when I have a pile of scraps like this, right, if it's going to fit in the, let's say, the largest one, that's where it's going to go, and it's going to go up against something that is light, like a bunch of whites. And I did go get a bunch more white strings, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through here, and like some of the pieces are really oversized, so they might be cut in half and made into smaller sizes that will fit. I'll get 2 out of this or whatever, but I do this as a big task. So let's get started here. We'll just grab one of these, and I usually try and work from the largest to the smallest, which, I mean, that's the way my brain works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this down here on top of this, just like so, and I'm going to grab a white string. Now this white string does not need to cover the entire area, right? Like, it doesn't cover. Like, you might have a little bit sticking out. Here, I'll get a thinner one here, just that'll be easier to explain what I'm doing. Here we go. There. So, oh, that's bigger. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's do, this is too small. This. There. So, for instance, this would probably fit on here. Okay, so I'm going to line these up, but it doesn't go out far enough to cover the corner. So this is where I would add this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to put the color side up. And some of my paper piecing does not have the little numbers on the back, so I'm working on this side first. And like I say, I'm going to hold this up to the light, and all I do is you can see through. It does shadow through the paper. So you're just going to keep moving this just a little bit this way. Oh, maybe too much. And you're going to be able to see where this fits, right? Because, I mean, you hold it up to any light or an open window, and it's going to show where it is, right? Now, and I'm just, well, I've got the wrong foot on, but I'm going to start it anyways. Now, there we go. I'm going to change feet right away too on this because that's the wrong foot. I should probably be using a flat foot, not a 1/4 inch foot. But you can see how fast these are going to go, right? So you just get the next one. It's always easier to do them on pairs of 2, right? So you would just grab another, you know, oversized piece and, you know, let's say, oh heavens, this one. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there's my gray. I'm going to look at a size that I think might work. So I would just pull this out. Now some of these don't have numbers, but I always start at the bottom. So I'm just going to go like this and put this here and snip off a little piece. And I'm going to put it on this side because there's enough contrast. And hold it up to the light. And see, and I'm just going to watch for the shadowing to happen so I can get this down and done. There. Now, okay, so now I'm turning this over. And I know I don't have enough coverage here because I'm just a wee bit short. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this piece in like so, just to finish the rest of that white corner. Okay, and I should probably do it this way because I'm piecing it in, right? And there we go. I'm just finishing this off. And you really don't even need to pin this, any of this, right? Because it goes really quickly. So now I want something really light on this side, the other side here. So I'm going to stop using my paper scissors. Okay. And just put this down. Make sure I've got like a leather, you know, 1/4 inch or so of crossover. And then you just hold it in place and you go. There's no pins, there's no nothing. When you're doing little bits like this, it's really easy to move to the next step. So I'm just going to finger press this over like so. Yes, I finger press a lot. And I'm going to get something for the other side. This will work. And there we go. And we're just going to push this up just a hair, a bit more. And now these things don't look like anything until they're trimmed. That's the other side of paper piecing. This looks really weird until it's all trimmed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this up to the light, and I'm just, let's see, I gotta get you guys, I'm just going to trim off a bit and let the little pieces fall, right? And I'm going to straighten this up a bit. Check it one more time to make sure that I'm on kind of the right line. Yes, I am. So I'm going to put in, is this going to be big enough? Yes, it is. So I'm just going to put this green piece in right here. Just drop it down. Flip it over. And I'm already on the second goose. So I just move all this stuff out of the way. And that's how we're going to get our flying geese done today. It's that quick. Now here I added 2 different pieces. If you wanted to, you could add the same piece of fabric in to finish off your square. That works too. And I'm just going to go like that. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to go like that and add it in like this. Now you can do several at a time. I'm only concentrating on 2 of them, but I mean, what if I were doing this without, you know, filming and all the rest of this stuff, I would have quite a few of them ready to go. Now, you could also sit there and trim with your add a quarter ruler and a rotary cutter and a little cutting mat and all this stuff. But basically, what I have been doing is just roughly trimming by kind of guessing where that seam is going to be, just to get this out of my way, just like that. And I don't normally, if anything, I cut, when I'm doing this, I cut it a little bit on the healthy side. So don't worry about short cutting it. But you can cut it precisely if you want. The only thing a precision cut does is that it will make your seams all even. Where this, it's, you know, like it's going to be, once it's in the quilt, it doesn't have to, you don't have to worry about it. So let me finish these and I'll show you what we've got. Okay, I finished these, and you can see I put together a few little extra pieces here on this bigger one. Now in a big quilt, that's not going to show. None of that's going to show. So I did, as soon as I finished one, because it's easier to do two at a time because you don't waste a bunch of thread. So as soon as I finished one, I started another one. So what I'm going to do now, while I'm here at my machine, I'm going to flip this over and do my stay stitching. Now my stay stitching goes in between the cut line and the seam line. And I'll just get this out of the way for now. And this actually saves me a lot of heartache. The block, once it's peeled the paper's peeled off it, there's absolutely no stretching. If I were to take this off the paper and try and do a little bit of stay stitching, there would be some stretching. But this way I'm guaranteed of a non-stretch block, and I'm guaranteed of the measurements, right? So, and it just makes it a little quicker to work with here. I'm going to do the other one right away. Oops, there, get that one off. Yeah, oops, there. Now, the only ones I don't do stay stitching on is the ones that finish at 1 inch. And I'm going to explain why. There. Now I'm just going to grab another, let's see. Now this is all I'm doing here on this. I'm just going to grab another big piece and sew it on. Here's one. And just lay it down about 1/4 of an inch over. Flip it over. Get another. There we go. Strings are getting caught up. So you can see the black stitching around here. That's my bobbin. And now I know all of this is stay stitched down. Now the reason I don't do this on the 1 inch finish ones is it's just too small. It's just, I would rather fiddle with the paper after I've sewn it in, because then I know where it is. So these never look like anything to me until they're trimmed. So we'll just give it a real fast trim. And I have a nick in my blade, maybe, I think. Methinks I have a nick in my blade. Oh no. No, maybe not. I have no idea. There. But I would sit, or take this to a sew date or something, right? Because it's pretty low stress. There's something that you can get done. You just grab a handful of scraps and a handful of papers, and you're usually done. A few. You've done a few every day. If you do a few every day, it's easy one on the brain to take to a sew date. Because you just grab a whole stack of scraps and scrap paper, and whatever you pick up, you try and work with. There we go. Okay. this, there, this is what they're going to look like when you're done. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that a cute way of using your scraps? Okay, I guess this is our ta-da moment. I mean, these didn't take very long to make, these two. And if you sit and sew just like 1 or 2 of them a day, I mean, it does go fast. You can use it as leader ender as well. One of the things I wanted to show you was the 1-inch finish ones. I made a stack of them because I had a whole bunch of little crumbs I knew that would fit on there. Usually I work from the largest to the smallest, and I do this last, but I just had droves and droves and droves of these, and I still have a bunch of these, so I might be getting my husband up to print some more of these together. Now, I have not done the stay stitching on these small ones or remove the paper, right, because the paper's still on the back. I don't, with something this small, I never take off the paper until it's sewn all the way around. I know stay stitching would help, but you have to get the paper off, right? So if you, once it's sewn all the way around, let's say you're doing outlining a Lone Star with flying geese, because you can sew these now end to end, right? And they would look like one very long flying geese, or you can use them for, piecing a little border around stuff or whatever. Once you start pulling at those papers in the back, yeah, you have to have that thing very stable, right, and already sewn in. So you want to take your time pulling out these little ones. These other ones now will come out, it won't take very long to pull them out. And I shortened my stitch length to 30 stitches per inch, and I'm not sure what that works out on the modern machines. I think it's like a 1 or a 1.5 or 1.25 or something. You have to check with your own machine. But this gets to be a lot of fun, and it does provide a lot of different little possibilities here, because you can sew them together, and you can sew them going in opposite directions to make a fun little block, or you can use it to make a rectangle block a square, right? So you just have to remember, like, well, do I need, all 6 flying geese, or do I just need 5, or you play with your own measurements, and you put coping strips on the top and bottom, right? So anyways, I do hope you try this. There's a bunch of also free PDFs that are flying geese that I've drawn, so help yourself to those. This has been such a fun day, and I do hope you check out Ann Terabini on howtoquilt.com. Her channel has so much fun stuff, and it's really a lovely little channel. Okay, we'll talk to you later, and I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead. Okay, bye! Thank you for watching our video today. We are just overjoyed with how our channel has grown. And we would like you to share, like, and subscribe these videos with your friends and other people. This is one of the quilts that we are considering at this time to do a sew-along for. It is a crazy original scrappy design that was made with too much coffee and too many granola bars, and it's a lot of fun to do, and it is a really good scrap buster. So share, like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Our plan for 2022 is 2 different sew-alongs for sure, and 2 different case studies. And we're going to try and do a thing on grouping on strings and crumbs, and then another one on curves. So we've got rather an ambitious 2022 planned for you here. So, like I say, I hope you come back. Have a great week ahead, and we'll talk to you later. Bye!